Find me a floor where only champions walk. Find me a game where nobody has next. Find me a day that has no tomorrow. There, let me play. Let me play for that one final moment. And I will give you memories to last forever.
Back to Michael, circles, runs inside, reverses, scores! Yes, sir!
Cowan's on the floor. What a play by Dave Cowan!
7 seconds. Here it comes. Down the middle of Bird. Bird with 4. Bird out to Dennis. With 1 second, he fires and gets it. Game is over. An outstanding shot by Dennis Johnson.
6 seconds. 5. Michael in traffic to Curl. 15-footer. Carry the jumper.
7, 6, 5. DeBusschere shoots. Hit with 3 seconds to go. 2 seconds. 1 second. West throws it up. He makes it. West threw it up and makes it. Over half court. It's all over. It's all over. And if you listen real carefully, you'll hear the Bad Lady singing.
Little Mo, Big Mo, the Doctor, Andrew Toney, and Ivoroni. No baloney. Sixes all the way.
We had non-believers all along the way. I have one thing to say to those non-believers. Don't ever underestimate the heart of a champion.
What a basketball game we've had. Oscar Robertson throws to Kareem. 7 seconds. Nichols, a style. Kareem with a big pressure shot.
Magic down the middle, just what I thought. A hook shot at 12. Good! The Lakers take the lead.
Looking. Skipped across. Tip in the steal. Got it. Saves it to Tony. He runs it back again. The Bulls win.
It feels like heaven. Like the Ohio player said, heaven must be like this. Heaven must be like this.
And there they go. They won it again.
Michael, 11 seconds. Across the timeline he comes. Goes to Pippen.
Pippen breaks inside. Pippen got the shot. They go to Grant. To Paxson. Paxson going for the win.
There's Paxson. Paxson. Yeah! Yeah! Hits the
three. No team has had more great finals moments than the Boston Celtics. But Red Auerbach's team had never even been to an NBA Finals before 1957, the season they added a center named Bill Russell. Russell was born with a genius for the game and blessed with the physical gifts to go with it. He immediately transformed the Celtics from a good team into a great one, spearheading their defense and anchoring their fast break.
I was a perfect fit for them because my game consisted of doing things that made my teammates effective. If a guy's not a good defensive player, here's what you do. You approach him this way and send him to me. I'll be waiting for him. Just send him to me.
Russell was not only the team's catalyst, he was their emotional leader.
Russell used to become physically ill before every ball game, and if we heard that he wasn't ill that particular night, Red Auerbach would stand up and say, "Russ, go into the men's room and throw up." That's how much he gave of himself to win.
Russell had unwavering confidence. He thought he was so good that we should win every single game that he played in.
West all alone. Look at Russell come down. And what a play by Russell!
Then sooner or later you began to feel the same way. But that was Russell's gift.
Their teamwork was born of their undying belief in each other. And as they began to build an NBA dynasty, it was their mentality that created the fabled Celtic mystique.
It's all over. The Boston Celtics are once again the world champions.
Year after year, individual superstars would try to dethrone the Celtics. Future Hall of Famers like the Lakers' Jerry West and the high-flying Elgin Baylor. Or the NBA's most dominating one-man force, Wilt Chamberlain of the Philadelphia 76ers. But year after year, the Celtics would find a five-man answer to every one-man problem.
There were several occasions we thought we were going to win. We had an opportunity, but it just didn't happen.
It's all over. And there they go. They've won it again.
We had a mentality that we never lost a game. Time ran out on us because we always felt that we could win. And I think that having that type of mentality allows you to produce those miracle finishes.
Greer's putting the ball on a play. He gets it out deep, and Havlicek steals it over the San George. Havlicek stole the ball. It's all over. It's all over.
Boston won an amazing 10 NBA championships in Russell's first 12 years. But as the 1960s were drawing to a close, it appeared that the Celtics dynasty was dying out too. By 1969, Russell was 36 years old, the only holdover from the Celtics' first championship team. Even Red Auerbach had retired, leaving Russell as player-coach. Injured and aging, the Celtics limped to their worst regular season record in Russell's career. What seemed like a hopeless cause then looked impossible when the already powerful Lakers engineered a stunning trade in anticipation of finally defeating Russell and the Celtics in the finals.
With guys like Jerry West and Elgin Baylor, I feel very, very happy that in being traded to a team that I believe may stand a chance to go down the record as one of the best teams in basketball ever.
The drama wasn't so much whether Wilt and the Lakers could beat the Celtics in the finals, but whether the Celtics could make it there at all.
They were even then being referred to as the old Celtics, but this were the ancient old Celtics. At that point in time, Russell was 36. They finished fourth in the regular season. They were going to be giving up the home court in each of the 3 rounds. There was no thought in anyone's mind they would get by the first opponent.
It would be Russell's Celtics' last run at a championship, and they didn't need anyone else believing in them, as long as they believed in each other.
One thing that we've always had in the Celtics is mutual respect. And we think that's the most necessary ingredient for a winning combination.
In their first playoff game against the Sixers, Russell blocked 12 shots, sparking the Celtics to a first-round upset.
It's that feeling of supporting and encouraging. You give all you have to your teammate to help him be who he can be. And that was certainly true about what Russell did for us on the court, and we gave it back.
In the conference finals, the up-and-coming New York Knicks expected to walk over the Celtics. But Boston ran past their young rivals and all the way to the finals, where the heavily favored Lakers would be waiting for their golden opportunity.
I don't think that when players come to the Celtics initially, they believe all that pride and, mystique and that type of thing. But with the Celtics, there was always a sense of we rather than I.
The Lakers raced to a 2-0 series lead, but Boston relied on some old Celtic magic to battle back and even the series at 3 games apiece.
The outside now to Sam Jones. He's good. Sam Jones.
By Game 7, the doubts were becoming as familiar as the victories.
I can't help but wonder, how do you feel about going into another 7th game, this time on somebody else's floor?
We've done it before.
Before his final game, it was the overconfidence of the opposition that helped Russell inspire his teammates one last time.
We get back out for the last game. Jack Kent Cooke was the owner of the Lakers. He put out a sheet in all the seats. When the Lakers win the championship, the USC band would play Happy Days Are Here Again. The balloons in the rafters would fall down, and Chick Hearns would interview Elgin Baylor, Jerry West, and Wilt Chamberlain in that particular order. Well, I took this back to Russell.
When the players came in, I read it to all of them. I says, there are a lot of things that's going on, but one thing that cannot go on, the Lakers cannot beat us. it's not something that can happen. They can't beat us. But it's going to be fun to watch them get those balloons out one at a time.
Roused by their captain's words, Boston came out flying, surprising the younger Lakers by trying to outrun them and succeeding. The Celtics built a big lead, but as the doubters predicted, they began to tire, while LA stayed fresh. The Lakers mounted a furious comeback and were on the verge of finally defeating the Celtics. But they might have known that Boston would find one last moment of Celtic magic.
Don Nelson made a shot that I've never seen in all the years of basketball. It hit the rim, and it must have gone up 15 feet and came right back down through the net. I mean, it was absolutely extraordinary.
No way should we have lost to Boston. Just no way. I mean, I still don't know how we lost to Boston. It's a mystery to me.
There was something about the Celtics that made it that they had to win. They willed themselves to victory that time. And then Russell walked off into the sunset.
And the Celtics, they have done it again. A spectacular finish.
Chris, I'm here with Bill Russell. Bill, this must have been a great win for you.
Exactly.
One more time.
The time I spent in the locker room and on the floor with my teammates was a marvelous, marvelous, wonderful time for me. From there, I couldn't go to heaven because leaving there, going anyplace else was a step down.
The Celtic mystique still filled the old Boston Garden in the 1970s with John Havlicek, Dave Cowens, and JoJo White as caretakers of the dynasty. In 1974, coach Tommy Heinsohn led Boston to its 12th NBA championship. In 1976, Lucky 13 looked like a sure thing, as the team that had practically written the history of the NBA would take on a team that had contributed only a curious footnote. When the Phoenix Suns joined the NBA in 1969, they took part in a coin toss to see who would get the first pick in the draft. The prize was Lou Alcindor, later Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
I call heads. The coin has come up tails.
Within 2 years, Kareem had brought a championship to Milwaukee. The Suns got Neil Walk and 8 years of heartache. Then in '76, their fortunes changed. In the playoffs, rookie Alvin Adams and former Celtic guard Paul Westphal led Phoenix past the defending NBA champions.
The Phoenix Suns beat the Golden State Warriors 94-86 to win the Western Conference Championship and now advance to the NBA Finals.
In the Boston Garden, it looked like the Suns' luck had run out.
Well, Boston blew them out the first 2 games, and it looked like this series was history over. Phoenix didn't have a chance. So down we go to Phoenix, and bingo. The Suns come up and even this series up at 2 games apiece.
For Game 5, the teams returned to Boston, where the Celtics had the building, the fans, and history on their side. All the Suns had was the nerve to think they could walk in there and win.
The thing that people remember most, and rightly so, is that 5th game.
In the first quarter, the Celtics showed the Suns how big game basketball was played.
This is Boston Celtic basketball at its best. The Suns have turned it over 4 early times. Royce with a beautiful play, took it from Scott.
We had that game in the pocket because we had about a 20-point lead in the first half, I believe.
Sobers gives it up on the turnover. Silas has got you-know-who, Hondo. Devastating first quarter.
We had to call 3 timeouts in the first quarter, but I'll say one thing about that 76 team. They refused to quit.
Down 16 at the half, the Suns began their charge.
Ever so slowly, the Phoenix Suns clawing their way back into this game.
By the end of 3 quarters, Boston's lead was dwindling. The Suns were beginning to run the Celtics out of their own building. But would they run out of time?
You are watching a team that finished only 2 games above 500 in the regular season, battle for a championship.
With a minute left and down by 5, Coach John McLeod looked to his one player with Celtic pedigree to handle the pressure on the parquet floor.
Westfall turnaround. 94-91, Phoenix alive with 52 seconds and a 3-point Boston lead. So that was a big basket by Westfall. Kept his team in it, and Westfall knocks it away. Get around behind Charlie Scott. Here's Paul back down the other way. Paul Westfall puts it in.
Westfall's scoring spree sent the game into overtime. There, with the score still tied, the Suns again tried to stare down history as the Celtics drew up the last play for their veteran playoff hero.
Goes to Havlicek. In the corner. Fake. Fires. No good.
A second 5-minute OT. And still the Phoenix Suns refuse to turn into pumpkins.
For the Cinderella Suns, midnight was again fast approaching as the Celtics controlled the second overtime. Boston's fans were ready to finally celebrate, but Phoenix had other ideas.
Carr gets it into Van Arsdale. Van trying to drive, shoot from the corner. It's good. 15 seconds to go. Phoenix down by 1. Here's a steal by Westfall to Van Arsdale to Perry. It won't go. Perry gets the rebound. Perry from the corner scores it. Curtis Perry scores it. 5 seconds to go. Oh, I don't believe it. I do not believe it.
The Celtics drew up the potential game winner. And although he had missed at the end of the first overtime, John Havlicek would again get the call for Boston.
The guy we were most concerned about was Havlicek. Will not be a son of a gun if he didn't break loose.
Havlicek. He's coming around on the left. Shot is good. The shot is good, and that's it. The ball game's over. The shot is good.
When he hit the shot, we thought the ball game was over.
The ball game is over. John Havlicek won it.
We were actually in the locker room thinking we had won it.
They say there's 1 second left. They say there's 1 second left.
When Havlicek made the shot, I looked up at the clock and saw there were a couple seconds left. I asked Richie Powers if we called a timeout, if we could still advance the ball to half court.
Do they have a timeout left, or have they used both of them?
They didn't have any. And they got a technical foul. JoJo White made the technical, but now they could advance the ball to midcourt.
Westfall's gamble gave Phoenix a final shot to tie the game.
And now we come to the end of the second overtime with a couple of the most incredible turnarounds I have ever seen. Won't start until it's touched. They'll have to throw it up. Garherd turnaround shot in the air. It's good. It's tied again. I don't believe it.
It was like a miracle. Something happened, and it just stunned. Myself, I was stunned until the next day.
Garherd ties it. We'll go to the third overtime. Somebody up there is on our side.
It's going through your mind, you know, that so-and-so made that shot. Why in the world didn't we do something?
By the third overtime, notions of strategy gave way to hopes for survival. The Suns' Alvin Adams had fouled out, while the Celtics lost 3 starters to fouls, including Dave Cowens. But into the void stepped number 30, Glenn McDonald, a seldom used reserve and an unlikely hero in this unlikeliest of games.
Underneath to McDonald, a fall away. Glenn McDonald!
Again, it was Westfall who wouldn't let Phoenix die.
21 seconds, it's a 4-point lead, and McDonald lost it. 17 seconds, Sobers has got Westfall open. It's 2 points again, and 12 seconds.
Westfall had time for just one more miracle.
We got a double team, and they threw it over to, I think, Don Nelson, and so I knew that his next pass would have to be up the sideline.
Nelson gives it down. Westfall's got a hand on it.
He put a little bit more in the pass than I hoped he did. If he would arch it a little more, I think I could have tipped it back to our guy.
That final miracle never happened, and Boston won the most outrageous game in NBA Finals history. The Phoenix Suns still haven't won a championship, but on that day, they proved that basketball glory doesn't only go to the winners.
The triple overtime, probably the greatest sporting event that I've ever been around.
The Los Angeles Lakers select Earvin Magic Johnson, Michigan State.
When Magic Johnson joined the Lakers, the happiest man in town was Magic himself.
I want you to know that this man has a smile that lights up a television screen from here to Bangor, Maine.
In his very first NBA game, Magic supplied the flash, but when the game was on the line, the Lakers looked to their leader, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Ford sends it to Kareem. Skyhook up, and good. Lakers win.
I'm running over there, full speed. I'm jumping up. I'm choking him. Yeah.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar